Who wants more trifling Tubi drama? Naomi Harris's marriage is crumbling. Her husband Marcus works as a detective and is always caught up at work. On top of that, Marcus is abusive and controlling. Naomi only finds peace at the hospital where she works as a nurse manager. There she confides in her best friend Tanya about everything. Marcus has been beating her again. But despite Tanya's advice, Naomi refuses to leave Marcus or report him. She says she has made a vow and will continue to honor that. Her mother clung hard to her faith, and Naomi wants to follow her good example. Naomi is so rude to her friends, telling Tanya she has no idea what it's like because she's single AF. I'll take single over a lumpy-headed cheater. One night, Marcus comes home late, and Naomi says his dinner has gone cold.
Then warm it up. Should be happy I even came home at all.
Naomi is worried that her husband has been cheating on her. Every time she tries to sleep with him, he pushes her away. Until one day she sees lingerie in Marcus's pocket. He gets angry and grabs her when she confronts him about it. At work, Marcus continues to eye other women. His partner, Detective Banks, always calls him out and reminds him that he's married. But Marcus can't help but eat booty on the daily because eating poop particles makes him go wild. One night, Naomi finally asks if he still loves her. He shuts her down, calls her dramatic, and tells her to stop the act. To Marcus, marriage is about loyalty. He tells Naomi that she's nothing without him and she should be grateful to be married to someone other women want for themselves. After the conversation, Naomi finally admits she's reaching her breaking point. The next day, Marcus leaves even though it's his day off. Instead of heading to the station, he visits his mistress, Jade, Naomi's co-worker. Jade wants more of Marcus and can't wait to have a family with him. But Marcus reminds her that he's married. He just wants to have fun, with no strings attached at all. Jade always playing a trifling heifer. Meanwhile, Naomi is starting to lose her mind. She imagines hearing a baby crying, only to realize she's alone at the house. She tells Tanya that her mind has begun playing tricks on her, and she's getting scared. So Tanya tells her to leave Marcus because he'll never change. A few months later, and Jade's belly is already showing. She's 4 months pregnant and hasn't told the baby's father about her pregnancy. She admits to a big-back nurse that the father is Marcus, Naomi's husband.
Your boss's husband at that.
Naomi overhears the conversation and is shocked by what she heard. Fire that hoe. Her work soon gets affected by the revelation. She becomes easily distracted and short-tempered. She even snaps at a colleague in front of a patient. Naomi's bad attitude at work quickly reaches the hospital management, and they suspend her temporarily. They have noticed that there's a huge shift in Naomi's behavior. So to ensure her well-being, Dr. Moore volunteers to give her therapy sessions. But Naomi is done being the good one. While Marcus is distracted, she switches his meds with the ones she got from the hospital. Then she tells him that his blood pressure meds are probably not working for him. Marcus ignores her and continues to take the meds, unaware that they've already been switched. The side effects quickly set in, leaving Marcus dizzy, sweating, and weak. He suspects Naomi had something to do with it, but he has no proof. Worried, he tells Detective Banks that somebody might be trying to get him. When his partner laughs it off, Marcus blames Naomi and says she's been acting weird lately. But Detective Banks believes Naomi isn't capable of doing something bad. But the truth is that Naomi's sanity is starting to slip. Aside from hearing voices, she also starts to see her younger self, taunting her. A few days later, Marcus and Detective Banks are called to a scene. Marcus is shocked when he recognizes that the dead woman is one of his side chicks, Whitney. He broke things off with her weeks ago, but her tight grip on his eggplant made it hard. Literally. Detective Banks sees the messages between Marcus and Whitney and decides to kick his partner off the case because it looks like he has a motive. He promises to keep Marcus's name off the paperwork for the time being. When Naomi hears the news online, she smiles and starts to hum to herself. The next day, Marcus is called to the captain's office. Detective Lowe from the Internal Affairs Division wants to question him about Whitney's death. According to their investigation, Whitney called Marcus 4 times that week, and that Marcus even promised to meet with her. Marcus denies all this. Detective Lowe brings up the sleeping pill bottle, Zolpidem, found in Whitney's room. Because people don't usually overdose through that, he believes Marcus could have asked his wife to get something stronger from the hospital. The captain butts in, saying that Naomi has a good reputation and wouldn't do such a thing. Detective Banks is starting to suspect his partner, but Marcus stands his ground. Their captain has her suspicions too, but since she's also sleeping with Marcus, she's more inclined to believe his side of the story. Oh, hell no! This man's sleeping with the entire movie crew. When Marcus returns home, he finally points out Naomi's odd behavior, which she credits to getting some good sleep. Despite their fights, Marcus is confident that Naomi will never leave him. During a therapy session with Dr. Moore, it's become evident that Naomi is disturbed. Her words are vague, but the doctor quickly notes that she's extremely angry. When Jade sees Naomi, she gleefully asks her how she's doing. Naomi pretends that all is well, but she's curious as to how Jade knew she got suspended. Still, Naomi keeps the act and asks Jade to join her for brunch next week. Jade accepts the invitation and gives Naomi her number. "You in danger, girl." While driving, Naomi spots Marcus and Tanya together. Tanya tells Marcus to treat Naomi right or just leave her. But Marcus insists that he's not mistreating his wife. Though the subject of the conversation is serious, from where Naomi is, it looks like the two are having an affair. She feels a sense of betrayal from the two people she loved the most. "You in danger too, girl." Naomi thinks Tanya has been advising her to leave Marcus just so she could be his new wife. So Naomi follows Tanya home and carefully crafts a plan on how to get rid of her next. When Jade and Naomi finally meet outside, Jade expects they'll only be hanging out. She even thanks Naomi for being nice to her all the time. Naomi congratulates her for the child she's carrying and adds that she and Marcus have always wanted a baby of their own. They can't make one because they are both busy with their work. Suddenly, Jade makes an excuse to go to the ladies' room. That is when Naomi takes the chance to put some Ozempic in her drink. When it finally takes effect, Jade exclaims that she's not feeling well. She assumes it must be the food, or maybe because she's pregnant. Since her eyesight has gone blurry, she doesn't want to drive her own car. She wants to call an Uber, but Naomi volunteers to drive her home instead. Jade is so dizzy and weak that she unknowingly calls out Marcus's name. Naomi loses the little self-control she has left and reveals that she knows all about their affair. Jade is struck with fear, knowing that something bad is about to happen, but she's too weak to escape. Naomi drags her into the woods and stabs her to death.
Yeah, double homicide.
Afterward, Naomi heads home and enjoys a late-night snack while writing in her journal. When detectives are called to the scene the next morning, Marcus can't deny that he knows Jade as well, but he insists that he wasn't aware that she was pregnant. Detective Banks is starting to suspect that Marcus has something to do with the recent deaths of his Haitian. In another session with Dr. Moore, Naomi reveals her frustration with the people around her. She thinks they are all pretending to be nice while doing something behind her back. A few days later, Detective Lowe invites Marcus to the station for questioning. It's in regard to Jade's murder. Marcus says he was called to the scene so he could answer any questions thrown at him. Detective Lowe is even more surprised when Naomi reveals that Jade worked in her unit under her supervision. However, Marcus is questioned, not as a detective, but as a suspect. Detective Lowe has seen the messages on Jade's phone, and based on their investigation, Marcus might have been the father of Jade's baby. Detective Lowe strongly believes that Marcus killed Jade to prevent Naomi from finding out about his activities. On top of that, his other women are either dead or missing too. Whitney apparently overdosed, while a woman named Tanisha Wells is missing. Tanisha filed a complaint against Marcus 6 months before she disappeared. Marcus's department tried burying it to save him, but Detective Lowe has managed to dig the information out. The evidence against Marcus is so strong that Detective Lowe doesn't even need his confession. Now, Marcus's apparent involvement in the deaths of these women is all over the news. Tanya visits Naomi to check on her. Naomi finally confronts her best friend, saying that she knows about her affair with Marcus. Tanya tries explaining herself, but she suddenly loses consciousness. Naomi has put some sedative in Tanya's drink earlier, so she could finally end her life. While behind bars, Marcus begs a guard to call in Detective Banks. He also borrows the guard's phone so he can call Naomi. But Naomi seems so distant and cold. She doesn't want to hear anything more. Meanwhile, Detective Moore is looking at his notes of things that Naomi said. He even listens to some recordings made during their sessions. Slowly, he realizes that Naomi knows details of the recent crimes before they are even reported on the news. He immediately phones the authorities, wanting to talk to the detective assigned to Jade's case. Detective Lowe visits Naomi that day to ask some questions. He mentions that a rare sedative is found in Jade's system, and it's offered only in a few hospitals, such as the one Naomi works at. But Naomi isn't even a suspect at this point, so the detective thanks her for answering his questions and goes on his way. Paw Patrol detectives strike again. When Detective Banks talks to his partner, Marcus explains that he was with his other side chick, Hope, when Jade was killed. According to Marcus, they went to the bar and headed to Hope's condo afterward. He only returned home the next day. Naomi visits Dr. Moore again, confessing that despite the abuse, she couldn't let Marcus go. Growing up, she saw the abuse her mother endured at the hands of her father, but her mother was patient and prayed for things to get better. She was hopeful until she could no longer handle it. Then she ended her own life. Dr. Moore tries convincing Naomi that they can work things out and he'll help her get better. But Naomi thanks the doctor and says it's going to be her last session. Detective Banks confirms that Marcus was with Hope the night Jade died. He immediately shows the footage to Detective Lowe to prove his friend's innocence. Marcus is released right after. So the moral of the story is to have so many side hoes that you can be exonerated with a solid alibi. Just then, Detective Lowe receives a call from Dr. Moore. The doctor has been trying to reach him, but this is the first time they'll be talking about Naomi. Marcus heads home right after, and Naomi welcomes him back. In addition to the hearty meal she prepared, she slips a sedative in Marcus's wine. After eating and drinking the wine, Marcus quickly starts to feel weak, and he can barely move his body. Naomi finally reveals that she knows all about his affairs. She has endured the abuse for years and forgiven him every single time because she loved him. But she's had enough. Marcus tries to say that he loves his wife, but it's already too late. Naomi hugs him one last time and shoots him. She imagines seeing her mother one last time, smiling at her. As soon as Marcus takes his final breath, she turns the gun to herself. Well, at least we know we won't be getting a part 2. What did you guys think of this one?
If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because YouTube isn't recommending my videos. So, if you like to watch more foolishness, you can click here or here.